You know the stupid, random, illogical thoughts that pop up in your head? You need to stop ignoring those. Here's the thing with subconscious thoughts. The more you ignore them, the louder they get. Your subconscious thoughts that don't make sense are the child you screaming to be heard. And when you don't listen to that screaming child, they're going to pull a tantrum. An adult tantrum could be either you getting irrationally angry on somebody that cut you off. Instead of just walking away or perhaps setting boundaries, you will get extremely angry at somebody disrupting your peace. Getting irrationally angry and triggered at anybody that disagrees with your opinion. Going on social media and typing really mean things to videos that you disagree with. You know a kid that has random thoughts that don't make sense and they question you about those? That is our subconscious. That thing never goes away. But we get to choose every day if we ignore it and dismiss it, or we try to rise above it, or we simply validate it and then let it pass. Try validating a kid's feelings. You'll notice how fast it passes. If you try to distract your kid and change the subject because you want to rise above it and just them to let it go, it may work temporarily, but before bed, guess who's going to be bringing that subject up again? Because every illogical subconscious thought just wants to be validated. If you go too deep into the nonsense thought, it could be very unhealthy because it goes into depression and anxiety. But if you try to ignore it and rise above it, the same thing will happen, anxiety and depression. So every illogical nonsense thought you have, just validate them and then redirect your attention to the present moment. Use your senses. What am I feeling? What am I smelling? What am I seeing? And know that you are safe in the present moment. Validate and then redirect. And that's how you let go of all the crazy, overthinking, subconscious, illogical, irrational thoughts that you can have. And I know some of you guys are going to come in the comments and be like, Tanya, I tried it. It doesn't work for me. It works for everyone. It works for people even on the spectrum. The key is to make it a habit and practice this every day. And if you have extreme PTSD, then start practicing it with a professional and watch how your mind changes. You deserve to be radically validated because your feelings matter, even the ones that don't make sense. How the heck do we validate ourselves? Validation is simply telling ourselves it's okay to feel. It's okay to think. It's pretty easy for us to validate ourselves and to validate others when it's logical thoughts. For example, if somebody passes away in our life, we will have thoughts that we're going to miss them. We're going to have feelings of sadness and grief. For most people, this will be a logical way of grieving, so they will easily be able to validate our feelings and we will be able to validate ourselves. But how do we validate the random, irrational thoughts that our logical mind knows are not real? But we just can't stop thinking and feeling those. Well, a lot of people think rising above it is the best way, but to me, that seems like ignoring them. Just because we ignore something and look away doesn't mean it's not there and doesn't mean it still won't affect us. Now, there are some people who go way too deep in those irrational thoughts, and that can cause a very unhealthy level of psychosis. That's when the lines of illogical and logical things are blurred. Going too deep into the thought means that you don't have self-boundaries. And when you don't have boundaries for yourself, it may be harder to set boundaries with others. So how do we validate? It's as simple as just repeating what your thought is with the words, "It's okay to," right in front of it. Try it now. Say something completely irrational that keeps popping up in your head. Now just repeat it and say, "It's okay to feel. I don't ever want to go to work again. It's okay to feel like I don't ever want to go to work again." Imagine as a kid, you were having an extreme outburst because you wanted vanilla ice cream and you got chocolate. Imagine somebody sitting beside you and telling you, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. When I tell you how fast that trigger will fizzle out, and do you ever notice what kids do after they're validated? They redirect and use their senses. They will just stop and hear a plane and look at it. Look at a flower, observe a bug, using their senses to get back to the present moment. So let's start all practicing radical validation, because when we learn to become our best friends, because we are validating and showing ourselves love and care, we are much easier going to be able to extend that validation and compassion to others.